What if we could fast forward 5 years and see just how wrong we were? This week, we're putting our gaming reputations on the line by locking in a series of bold predictions for where this industry is heading. Some of these might happen sooner than we think. Others, well, they could age like milk. Before that, we're going to be talking about Denshattack, the continuing fight for physical games, and asking a question that feels more realistic every month. Is next generation gaming becoming so expensive that buying a console on finance could become completely normal? All this and more on this week's Pixel Parents podcast. Hello and welcome to the next episode of the Pixel Parents podcast, the show that discusses all things gaming from the perspective of parents. I'm your host, Liam Kirk-Kelvin. Today, of course, joined by the veiled one, Alex. How are we doing, Alex?
Hello, I'm not too bad. Still a wee bit warm, but we'll not complain about the heat again. It's still warm.
It's you're very warm, still glorious. Although I think by the time this show goes live, we might be welcoming in some rain and lower temperatures. Oh dear, what a shame.
Fingers crossed.
I know, but how have you been this week, man? What have you been up to?
I have been alright. Work's kicking my ass a wee bit, but I can't really complain. Recovering after my weekend camping trip, the first family camping trip.
How'd that go?
It went. Largely it was fine. We all had a good time. It had its moments, and I'm not sure I'm built for camping. I was a good banned from taking any consoles with me. No, you're not. But I still managed to sneak one in there.
Where'd you go with?
Oh, I took my ally, of course.
Nice.
Of course. Nice. Get rewards, daily stuff to get my dailies to get.
True. Actually, yeah, I keep forgetting about that. You using the app as well at the same time, just maximising rewards.
Of course.
Nice.
So yeah. Aye, but all good. How are you?
I'm good, man. Yeah. Similar, actually. The work has been kicking my backside this week as well. So I'm quite looking forward to finishing up for the week tomorrow because I'm on 4-day weeks for July. So that is good. I think, you just get some of those ones you're like, I just need to hit the reset button. I need to get out of here. And it happens, you pick yourself up, you dust yourself down, and you just kind of go back in and try not to shout at people. That's basically it. And that's what we all do.
It's hard sometimes, though.
It does happen, sometimes the red mist just descends a little bit. but by that, man, I'm really good. The Avengers Doomsday trailer had launched this week, finally. Got to see the big man finally on the big screen. I'm very hyped. Alex, dare I ask, did you see it? And what did
I
you
have
make
seen
of
it. I showed it to my son, who's very hyped.
Nice.
He's very much looking forward to it. And he's like, how long is it? Because I always like to be countdown at the end. He's like, oh. I'm like, so that means it's like that long until Christmas? I'm like, all right, calm this back down. Right?
Smart boy. He's probably connecting the dots like, I could ask Santa for this toy and that toy, and quite right, I say. I mean, did you enjoy what you saw? Did you think it was quite hyped by it?
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. Hopefully it's going to be a wee bit of a return to form. It seems everything that I feel like we've seen to date looks good.
Mm-hmm.
I've been one of those that's dropped off so many things and not watched so many of the series, or I don't actually think I've seen any movie since, or watched any movie since Endgame.
Oh wow, yeah. So that's about 8 years ago. What would have been?
So don't. Maybe Civil War saying that's a lie, because my son has watched some and I've kind of half seen bits of them, but the books and stuff I've still not watched. And I did go and see Fantastic Four.
Oh, right, nice, yeah, cool.
So I've seen Fantastic Four.
That's probably a key one. Thunderbolts is really good, actually, surprisingly good. But what I found is after it, reaction-wise, I feel like we're definitely in a bit of I would call it a misery economy with the MCU. Big part of me is just let people be happy. It's cool, if you fall off, we don't need to hear about that, and every time I go through TikTok, naturally, my algorithm's going to be, coded for that type of stuff. But it is very much like, yeah, the MCU, you could be like, yeah, it just got terrible, but it didn't get bad. You became uninterested. There's a very fine line between the two. And
just that fatigue. Like,
it's
it's
that
like
fatigue.
everything, you get fatigue.
Yeah, it really is. And even I felt it. And I've largely kept up. I think the only one that I think I think Wonder Man's the only show that I've not seen, and I've started to catch up on X-Men 97, which isn't really connected, but yeah, it's just, I feel like there's a lot of money to be made off two things on social media just now. One is GTA 6 videos of leaks that don't exist, and two is bashing Avengers Doomsday and telling the world why you don't like the MCU. I'm like, that's cool, but I don't know. I think we just need a wee bit of positivity in lots of things, because
It's like, good for you, but I'm still going to enjoy it, pal.
pretty much, yeah, pretty much. But yeah, it's I'm very excited, very, very excited by that. But this is a video games podcast, so we've got lots of games to talk about. So including some pretty cool new ones that we've both been playing this week. And I say that because I think I clocked you in the Xbox playing the wee bit of Denshattack. Am I right in saying, Alex?
I have played a wee bit of Denshattack, that is correct.
I'm looking forward to getting into that, but I'll get some housekeeping out there first before we get dive into things. But of course, those old and new, this is the Pixel Parents Podcast, which is a weekly gaming show by parents discussing all things gaming whilst raising little ones. Now, you can get new episodes every Friday on YouTube, Spotify and Apple Podcasts, so go subscribe to us on YouTube. You don't miss our tired mugs. You can get us on Blue Sky at pixelparents.bsky.social or email us at pixelparentspodcast@gmail.com. You can also support the show for free at patreon.com/pixelparents. Get loads of stuff for £0. Reddit is r/pixelparents. And if you can, drop a wee 5-star review or even just share this podcast online with your pals. Whatever you do, as we always say, helps us out. And a big massive thank you to everybody that joins us each and every week. Now, Alex, as we mentioned, we've been playing a wee bit of this game called Denshattack. It's come out of absolutely nowhere, but I am very excited to hear your thoughts on this.
Do you really
game.
think it's come out of nowhere? This has been like one of my most anticipated games since it was like at Summer Game Fest last year or whatever it was.
I think it's more just for myself. It's just been absolutely off my radar. Because don't forget, summer, usually, it gets to like after the May slog, then it's just like empty. And then it's like, oh, September, we kick back into gear. So anything that comes into this time of year for me is not on my radar.
But I think for a lot of people it has been under the radar. But yeah, like, God, what a great game this is.
Yeah.
Like, just starting off, it's just like at its heart, it's, what is it? It's like almost a skateboarding game with a bus. No, a train, sorry. I always think of it as a bus because when you seen that first trailer, it looked like a yellow school bus rather than a train. Like,
yeah,
but
it does look like a bus. It's like on rails.
It's basically, is it Jet Set Radio type? It's like a game that should have been on the Dreamcast.
100%.
Like, it's all that. It's like anime built in there, and then, but the crux of the gameplay is almost a cross between Jet Set Radio and Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
Ish. A wee bit of Ollie Ollie in there, I would even say as well. Like, it's
a wee bit of skate as well.
But it's absolute crack.
Yeah, like, and one.
But you're working your way through, like, what I think there's 8 worlds in a kind of old school like world map, and you've got to be plotting through like each of these, and then you get to a boss level at the end of each of the worlds. And like through the first one, it's adding more and more mechanics. At first, you're just basically on these tracks and trying to like avoid obstacles, and then it'll add in some rail grinding, it'll add some jumping, then it'll add some wall running, it'll add a wee bit of everything here and there. And add in the tricks, but it's so smooth, and the production value is so high that it's just a great experience all round. I'm only at, I think, in the second world, because the one thing I'd say is I don't think it's one of those games you can play for ages and ages and ages. I think it's a wee short burst game, and you can play a couple of levels and put it back down. I know some people will be a wee bit different in that, but it's great for picking up and putting down. But this game's got something.
Yeah, it's definitely got the sauce, doesn't it? I mean, I'm with you. Like, I definitely 100% agree that it feels like it's a short burst game, and that's a good thing. It's something that I found that I've been going to like at the end of the evening or at the weekend there, just like, I've got a wee 20 minutes, I'll maybe just go in and just have some fun. And I'm absolutely satisfied with that. It's one of those ones I've been thinking maybe I should just, have a pure sweaty 2 to 3 hours just playing nothing but this. But I think because I'm playing it on the Ally as well, I did try it on the Series X, but I've enjoyed it more on the Ally. But I did have a little moment where it was just absolutely like roasting hot at one point. I think it was more than thought. I put it in sleep after I was playing it, and I thought I'll get back to that. Made some lunch, came back, and it was like I could cook eggs on this thing. But it's deceptively impressive from a technical level because you're looking at it thinking that Dreamcast game is absolutely perfect description of it. And, it kind of harkens back to that more simple type of arcade games back then. Your Crazy Taxi, even like SSX. Doesn't play like it, but because it's such a vibrant and addictive game to play, and I did kind of get lulled in thinking, oh, this will run on a potato. It's probably doing it a massive disservice because of everything that is going on the screen at once. But yeah, I think it's just been an incredibly fun take on an on-rail skill game. I mentioned like Skate earlier, like that trick system with the right analog stick, and it just has that one more go. It's like vibe right down in spades. Like if you do fail, and you will, it's like no big deal. Just get back. It kind of puts you back to like a little checkpoint, and you just want to pull it off. And there's so many little secrets, like collecting the spray cans, etc. So you can unlock parts of a scrapbook. Then you've got the customization of your train, and then that art style, man, like that, just over the top anime vibe is absolutely sublime.
Yeah.
And all complemented, wrapped up with the music, which is just so bang on. And again, yeah, probably for older gamers like ourselves that do remember those Dreamcast early PS2 days, it's kind of like, yep, this is exactly the vibe that they're going for. And they've just nailed it. Like, it was amazing. Like, seeing a little buzz about it, probably about this time last week, just before it came out. And I thought, that looks cool. And then I saw it was a Game Pass. I was like, I'll give it a bash. And I've just been like, wow, like what a breath of fresh air. Arriving just at the right time, man. But it's definitely one I'd say everybody needs on their radar if they're not playing it already. I'd actually say it's worth picking up Game Pass for a month just to play it if you've not got it. It's that good.
And even then, I actually think it's only about 15 quid or something like that. So you just buy it on the Switch too or something. So it's absolutely worth it. And I think the other thing I was very appreciative of is like a lot of these games are, you need to earn so many medals and stuff before you can progress to the next level or world and all that. And there's none of that. And this is just, you can play it and you can achieve up to a gold medal on each level, or you can just finish the level and it lets you move on to the next one. There's none of this gate nonsense, which I think is really good in terms of accessibility.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like, you're right. That's definitely something to appreciate about it because you're not going to hit that brick wall in the boss fights. And like, that was the moment, like that first boss. And I was like, this is absolutely batshit crazy and I love it. Like, I was just expecting it to be, you take on other characters in the story and you're just effectively racing against them and just doing tricks and there's dares and stuff like that. I'm thinking, all right, this will be the next one. And it's just this big, massive anime boss fight against some massive Gungan. I'm like, this is or Gundam, sorry. I'm like, Gungan. I'm talking about Star Wars. Big, massive Gundam. I'm like, this is absolutely incredible. Like, very few games can pull that off, that sense of scale. But also the fact that it manages to achieve this manic sense of fun at all times. And to the point where you're so blown away by what you're seeing on screen, it's like, oh, wait, yeah, I can jump and do some tricks and kind of increase my score a little bit more. You kind of get sucked up into what you're seeing. Again, only a compliment to it, really. But yeah, it's definitely a handheld gem for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, runs great on obviously anywhere else, but this just feels like it was made for handheld, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can't imagine sitting playing it on a console, but then I don't play it on the console these days.
Yeah.
Like, everything's handheld, but yeah, it's perfect for a handheld and just having that kind of. It's not quite a second screen game because you need to pay attention to it. Like, there's no half-ass in this. You need to be giving it your full attention or you're going to die straight away.
Yeah.
But it can. The one thing I would not criticise it for, I don't know what you think about this, but the jump button is in the wrong place.
Yeah.
There's no way that right trigger should be jump.
Yeah.
And I think you can change it, but yeah, that's the one thing that just still, like, the controls just don't feel natural, and I don't feel like I'm ever getting used to it. And I'm like, the more you play it and you actually kind of get, it's one of those kind of get in the zone type games
Yeah.
when you're just wanting it to all be natural and like be at one with it, but or be one with it. But then that's when you get into that zone, that's when you forget and you automatically think, well, jump's A, that's just our X,
Yeah.
or that's jump, and it's not. You're
That's
like, no,
true.
that's just not right.
That is true, actually, because there's almost like a rhythm nature to it at points. Like you might have to jump over an obstacle or push down the right analog stick to make a horn to just makes a wrecking ball appear and destroy a building. It's all those wee things. It's just like I just want to get it right. It just does something
Yeah,
that scratches that part of your brain, doesn't it?
absolutely. Because when we were talking about it in the Mimics Fail, Ben compared it to Thumper.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely thumper elements to, like, particularly like the boss fights and stuff around, like, some of the segments where you're just avoiding things and jumping rail to rail and stuff like that. And then even a wee bit like when obviously, I know that be a spoiler now. Could it be a spoiler? And just thinking back to Keeper, and obviously there was some bits like that in there as well.
Yeah.
The wee bits and pieces, but yeah, all good.
Definitely one that people need to get on their list. Like it says, I think you don't need to hear much more, guys. Like, go play Denshattack. We're definitely going to be playing more of it. I'm pleased to hear because part of me was like, you get that gamer guilt a little bit. You're like, I should be battering through this, but it is just like that last wee 20 minutes into the night is perfect for it. So
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear I'm not alone in that one, but that's all that gaming. Speaking of which, I do want to give a quick update on the old gaming from this week, Alex, and it's Black Ops 2 still back in there. The Unk gaming continues, and I'm so bad at it, like terrible, to the point like you're going through TikTok and there's just impeccable memes about people having the exact same experience, but to the tune of Outstanding by the Gap Band, and it's just absolutely fantastic. But I'm so compelled to just get a few rounds in, even though I'm like, this will be pain, and you'll have at one point, one lobby I was playing last night, and I was the only person in my team against another 6 people. And don't get me wrong, that's better. You've got more people to shoot. But at one point, I was just the balance tips, and it's like, yeah, this ain't fun anymore. But I have been enjoying it. It's just been, again, the nostalgia trip. But yeah, we have not aged well. That's the thing. That's what I've realised. It's like I don't have it like I did back in the day. Like,
No.
proper realisation.
It's coming back. That's just that old age thing as well. I was sitting this. I laugh at myself, but I'm sitting yesterday and I'm sitting going like, I've got a really sore hand. Like my hand really sore. Like it's just been like a movement. And I was like, stop playing games then.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
fuck off.
You're like that, damn
It's
it.
like trigger finger. Touch the thumbstick finger, I think. And you're just like, it's all these things. The reactions just aren't there anymore, and then everything gets a wee bit sore and the arthritis kicks in and we're just getting old. Well,
yeah,
I'm getting old.
It's just that wee reminder, isn't it? Like, I wonder what other games I'm going to have this experience with, down the line, but it's like, I don't know, probably a From Software game or something like that. But it's like, I just don't, the fight isn't in the dog anymore, man. You're old. Put down the controller. Yeah, but still loving it. Despite all that, there's just, looking at it, I always have that novel with any game that was from around that era and before. And we all do it, which is, man, I can't believe I thought this looked amazing because it looks like absolute dog shit.
Yeah, but
it's
we
amazing.
did.
Aye, we did the time.
Rose tinted glasses, as they say, but I suppose everything looks better these days, though. It's like when we were watching the World Cup final, and like, we need to put it on Ultra HD because you need to. And then it's like, I don't see any difference here. Oh, that's too sharp. That's giving me a sore head. Oh, for fuck's sake, sharp. But it is that way. Like, if you go back to that kind of period in time, we were getting HD TVs and not even full HD. It was like, oh my God, this is amazing. So obviously that looked amazing to us back then as well. You just forget how far like technology's come in quite a short period of time.
That's true, actually. Yeah, because even like the jump to 4K and getting a 4K TV, it wasn't until the PS4 Pro where I was like, right, okay, I'll have to now. And I think it was Red Dead Redemption 2 or God of War, one of the two. And I was like, I'm just going to have to take the jump. And I was so perturbed by it because I'm like, hasty's good enough, and I'm like, no, I was 100% wrong. Like you can see it, like it just makes it look like SD in some cases, but I don't see if we can go a step further. I think the human eye can only see up to about 8K anyway, so
Yeah.
we've only got one more leap in us.
But
we
it's
shall
like now
see.
even the other way around is you say like thinking there of Black Ops and thinking that looked good back in the day, but it's like trying to watch a football match on like standard definition Freeview.
Oof, it's
You're
brutal.
like, oh my word, so like that's just a bloody mess. How
Aye.
did we ever
It's like somebody's
manage
put
this?
like Vaseline on your TV. It's like I can't see a bloody thing here. It's how far we have come.
Yeah.
And I like to think back to like even watching like a VHS on like an old CRT TV, like watching Jurassic Park on that, and just being like, this is the pinnacle of visual experience, you know. And
But
this
that
like,
had charm though.
I know, it did, but don't get me wrong. Sometimes it does go too far, you know. I'm going to just lightly go back to movies for a second, but I went to see The Odyssey at the weekend, right? I went to see it in IMAX, and it's like that is like the absolute pinnacle of definition.
Yeah.
But it didn't need it because of the style of the movie and the cinematography. And I'm like, oh yeah, there is something there that doesn't have to be this hyper polished look that you tend to get with films. And even if you compare like superhero movies to ones, not even like even in the MCU, compare Iron Man 1 to like Iron Man 3, and it's like night and day. You know what I mean? But games, I suppose, are the same. There's some ones like they do, like Grand Theft Auto, the Definitive Edition did that. They ended up introducing all these new upgrades, and it was like that kind of
Absolute
haze.
shit show.
Yeah, it's like San Andreas is massive. You take away the haze, and it looks tiny, and it's like the illusionary effects, effectively, of that. It's so that's where the magic is, you know. So sometimes less is more, unless it's Call of Duty. It's just going to let me just get a kill. That's what I want, lads. But I digress. Have you been playing anything else this week, man?
I've been playing, kind of dropping into a couple of little Survivors Leagues again, and then one that I kind of alluded to last week, but I mentioned this week is Ascend to Zero. It's another one that's on Game Pass, and it's a wee bit different because it has a time mechanic. So at the start of the game, essentially it's a roguelike setup, whereas it's not just a map like Vampire Survivors where you're trying to get through and survive. You have a timer, and you need to plan how, as you're going through the levels, and it's almost like rooms, but you need to use your pause mechanic to, like, obviously when you unpause the game, the enemies come at you, but your time runs down, and you need to almost wager how strong you are for when you turn your timer back on, so that like the rooms will have levels and you'll be at a level, and you need to say, am I overpowered enough for this that I can go and gather some more resources, some more time, or am I underpowered that I should just go back a bit and try and it's almost that kind of risk reward type, need to survive all the way through to get through the levels. And it's actually very, very good, and it's one of the most innovative uses of this kind of genre that I've seen in a long time.
Nice.
And then it's that whole way as you go and you save people as you get further and further, and when you save them, it opens up different bits like skill trees, armories, weapons, all that side of things that you normally see with these. But again, if you like your kind of survivors like bullet having type games and looking for something a wee bit different, Ascend to Zero on Game Pass. I think it's only on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC at the minute. It's not on any of the other consoles. Definitely worth checking out because I've very much enjoyed it. Great little ally game. So,
like that.
Yeah.
We need more of them. You know what I mean? To be fair, a lot of them are. Speaking of which, actually, Halo's only like a week away, which I remember today.
I was just thinking that as you talked about Black Ops 2. I'm like, the closest you're going to get me to playing something with a shooter is when Halo comes out next week, and I'm back playing through that legendary campaign.
Yes.
Can't wait.
It's the only way to do it, man. Like, at first I was like, nah, I wanted some multiplayer in there, but I'm kind of glad it's not, because it's just an in and out type thing. And I hate to say it, like, I know there's been a lot of talk this week about the Game Pass devaluing games, but I'm like, I don't think there's anything wrong with games like that just being a Game Pass game. I suppose, like, because I'm not paying £70 for it. I'd be bitterly, burned if that happened. But as a Game Pass game, and I'm really excited to see how it manages on the Rogue. I think it was a Digital Foundry. Sorry, the tortoise is going nuts behind me again. Darwin trying to have his moment of fame. I think Digital Foundry said that it does run pretty okay, but I'm not sure if it's going to get up to 60. So I'm intrigued to just kind of run a wee test on it, but I think it's just an Unreal Engine 5 thing, but could be wrong. They've obviously had plenty of time to optimise
Because that
since
doesn't
then.
play nice with Switch 2 either, does it?
Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. But I'm looking forward to it. But I think that's about a week today, isn't it? It's 29th, something like that. Out.
I think early access, do you know how you get your 5-day early access is the day? I think that's maybe the day this comes out, maybe today as you're listening. Certainly, I think there's a few days early access, and then it's at early some point next week that the full proper release comes out and Game Pass and stuff. So yeah,
Nice. I'll probably wait. I think
I'm not getting the Ultimate Premium Unlock Edition for this because I'm like, what are you going to do? You're not going to give me any DLC, are you? Like,
true.
what am I paying for?
One and done. Like, I've only ever did once for an early access with a Game Pass game, and that was for Starfield.
I did it Starfield, and I've done it with Forza twice.
Oh yeah, Forza as well. I was tempted by that one, but by the time I figured out you could do it, I only had to wait like 2 days or something. So I was like,
well, it's more. I always did it because you get all the card packs and the DLCs. I'm like, well, I'm going to buy them anyway, so it might
it's worth it. Aye, 100%. I need to get back to that as well. That's a great Ally game as well. Just a great wee device.
Although I broke mine.
Oh, what happened?
I dropped it at Centre Parks. Oh, it's fine. So there's notably a wee crack in the top corner now, and I had to take it apart to like let the bits come out because they were floating about inside and it was rattling, so I had to kind of flip it and let them out. And then I put a wee bit of blue tack in between the top bit and squeezed it together, and it's fine. So it's repaired and it's working absolutely fine. The screen and everything is absolutely fine. There's just a wee imperfection at the top right, and it was just a slight. And I'm like, I can't have this rattling. Like, I'm going to need to open this and get the bits out. And it was just basically the corner of where the two bits clipped together of the back and the front that it had broken. So I'm like, okay.
I mean, that's kind of an excuse for you to be like, oh dear, I need to go get the Ally X20.
No, it's not. It's never going to work.
I think, like, obviously that would be really impressive. And there was a small part of me like, of course, there's an OLED model, but I'm actually not really. It's like the Switch 2. Like, I'm not really feeling like I need it. Like, I'm not that much of a purist. You know what I mean? Games still look great on it regardless, but I hope it's fine. I mean, in January this year, I remember, I don't know what I did, but got a really bad habit of picking up the Ally with one hand, like from the controller bit. And obviously all controllers, they'll have just this line across it in the bottom part, and it just came apart. And I just was like, oh, click back together, and it's fine. And I was like, okay. And I'm like, maybe I should get one of those kill switch cases or something like that just to kind of keep it together. But it's always in a case most of the time unless it's charging anyway. Yeah. So should be fine. Should be fine.
I just balanced it on the edge of the seat and then knocked it off.
Well, like Buzz in Toy Story, just slow motion. Oh man, maybe it is actually worth looking at getting a kill switch. Actually, I think it's one of those DB covers or whatever it is. But aye, it is what it is. But in terms of, we'll move on to the next part. A little news update. But bear with us. Right? This is all carefully set up so that we can segue into the main topic. And then what I'm going to do is tease up. I'm going to put myself on mute and take out this tortoise, and then let Alex kind of take things up because he's been a wee pest. They get very divish in the summer. Alex, they're quite the thing to deal with. But anyway, it's really, we wanted to talk about like two things, right? Just all related to next gen. But the first one is the physical game sales part of it, right? Now, report this week, who I think is worth talking about, and it's just about the future. But Matt Piscatella basically had put out some stats about on physical games, and basically only 7 PlayStation titles have sold more than 100,000 units this year in the US. And the question I want to ask, Alex, are we the problem? Are we the reason it's going away? Excuse me a moment, whilst I put on mute whilst you tell us. I can still hear you.
I mean, we're never the problem. We're never the problem. I mean, I know I don't buy a lot of physical games these days, but I mean, I will pick up some, but it doesn't surprise me that we're sitting here and seeing these kind of numbers but it's all about convenience, I feel like, with this. And obviously you don't want to take the option of physical media away, but the convenience of it all is like, I hate changing a disc. Yeah. I hate it. It's like it literally stops me from playing games, which I'm sure we talked about before. Like if it's not in my, particularly when I've like a lot of the time I'll play PlayStation now is through my portal. And like I couldn't tell you the last time I bought a physical thing for the Xbox. I mean, it's all it. If it doesn't have Play Anywhere, I'm not interested these days either.
True.
So yes, we probably are part of the problem, but I mean, it is what it is, I guess.
Aye.
And as I say, it doesn't surprise me that there's only 7 games. I mean, there's not been, if you actually think about it, there's not been that many big games released on PlayStation this year either. So
I mean, they do about 2 a year. 2 big tentpole ones they always go for, haven't they? And they have done most of this generation. But I hate to admit that I think that, yes, we are enough of the problem, Alex. We're perfect, but I think we've contributed. We're contributors to the problem. But I look at it 2 ways. One, it's like the sales are there, right? The trends are there, and I don't think any of us are a big fan of having options taken away. So I wouldn't say I'm in favour of it going away, but I understand if you were somebody you're producing a piece of hardware, and it's like, where is the market going? And if that's the numbers, it's pretty clear, man. Like you're adding on potentially like $100, £100 worth of cost for a very small and shrinking minority of gamers, but it's what you lose around it that I'm sad about, like trading in games, like Scott, for example, he will be absolutely remiss because he can't go into CEX and trade games. I think he's on a first name basis over there, but it's a good way to kind of keep the flow of games coming, and something we'll always advocate for. But I'm with you, I can't remember the last time I really went out and got a physical game, and that's just because I can't be arsed changing a disc, even though, yep, I went and got a disc drive for the PS5 Pro, but I must be honest, that was probably largely because it's like, well, what if I want to watch a Blu-ray? Because I do like collecting Blu-rays. I do enjoy that because the quality is so much better than streaming. But then the one thing that I'm sad about the most, I would say, and you might have this sort yourself, Alex, but God willing, my son would ask for a game from Santa for Christmas, and he's not going to have that moment of like opening up the physical copy of the game like we did, and looking at the manual, and that would have been gone anyway. That was the first thing to go, and it's just that wee nostalgia thing. But instead, I suppose it's like there's some vouchers from Santa, and you can use that, or you can make your own box up.
Just type that wee number in.
Aye. Santa went to Morrison's.
It's like, this file just going to need to keep the kids on Nintendo. What's that?
That's it. Yeah, I do. They were probably ahead of the curve with that key card thing as well, weren't they? But I don't know. There was like over the course of like last week to now, there was that little wave of like, maybe they might reverse it. And then that report came out and it's like, nah, they ain't reversing shit.
No,
it's
absolutely not.
But it folds into the next part, the next gen part, as our next gen watch continues. But there's been plenty of reports that are saying that memory pricing is expected to stay high and get higher at least until 2028. And even at that would be a very, very, keep everything crossed. Looking at the crystal ball as AI continues to rapidly accelerate, despite the fact that it's going Skynet and, doing cyber attacks on its own now. We also looked this week, and it was outside the gaming, the new finance options from Apple with Klarna, I think they're partnering with. And it did just get me thinking, like, to me at least, it looks like that's the route forward for consoles. I think Asha Sharma's introduced that with Xbox to a different degree. She has spoke about, like, people aren't going to buy a, 4-figure console, so we need to find ways around it. Is that what it looks like, Alex? Is basically the next gen, we're all signing up to a 36-month plan to get our hands on a potentially £1,500 plus console?
But I mean, this goes back to my point from last week. Xbox are just ahead of the curve because, I mean, they already did this. We've had Xbox All Access since, the launch of early in the Series X and Series S.
Yep.
Was it even actually further back than that? It was kind of
just
tail end of the One X.
Yeah, I think it was, because it was just around about the Game Pass was still pretty new-ish at that point. So it was last gen, I think they did it. Don't know if they've still got it though. I don't know if it still exists, but it certainly, I don't remember seeing anything about them removing it, but it certainly was a thing for a while. But yeah, I think, unfortunately, it's going to be
the new normal. I think you're going to see more and more of this in terms of they're going to become a mobile phone contract type thing because people aren't going to be able to afford it and you're going to need these financial options. I mean, I'm the type of person, like, I don't have a mobile phone in a contract. I can't cope with paying monthly for a mobile phone. I'm like, I'll pay £5 a month for my SIM. Like, just give me a phone. Like, I can't do it. I don't need it's the one thing that I don't need the top technology for. I'm like, a phone's a phone. To me, I don't need an iPhone. Why anybody would buy an iPhone? I don't know. But that's me and Apple. That's my,
I know, but it's the way it goes. Like, I mean, I definitely don't like God. That's the next big thing to come. When I think Apple have got on pretty decent terms with these manufacturers for memory and stuff like that. But the iPhone's only locked in price-wise for like another year or so, and then that's going to rocket in price, and that's when you'll notice a big change in terms of consumer electronics. But yeah, I think the tea sweetener for me, right, is if they make a compelling case, right, Project Helix is something I'm not going to get. Right, I know that straight off the bat. It's just not really something from what it is allegedly doing. I'm like, no, I'm cool. Like, I think my Ally kind of serves me in that department if I want that wee bit of, PC gaming. And, God willing, it keeps going. But if they could bundle in, like All Access, bit of Game Pass with that cost of the console, or on the PlayStation side, you get a PlayStation Plus Essential plan or something like that with it, I think that would probably be a good option. But it's still crap because, people just they're so used to just owning consoles. And don't get me wrong, you could whack it in a credit card, you could finance that another way yourself, that's up to you. But I think for that to be pretty much the standard way to get it, that's new. And it's something we're going to have to wrap our heads around. I mean, the only way I'm going to be really pure dying to get my hands on it is if the PlayStation 6 is some kind of handheld anyway. Like, if it's just like a more beefed up, gainsed up PS5 Pro, I'm okay, to be honest with you. I think
Same.
like the pixels.
I'm definitely at that disinterested stage now. I'm just like, we don't need it. Like, we're past that period of innovation and everything being wow and better. And I'm just like, and we're past this generational thing as well. I know people said they believed in generations and all this nonsense, but look how long into the PS5 cycle we're still getting PS4 games. I think when you get to PS6 stage, I think you could almost, for the whole life, still be making PS5 games. Like, it's not going to be high up the agenda for day one. I think this will be the first in a wee. Well, I was going to say the first in a wee while. It's not actually the first in a wee while because this was the first generation. I ended up like day one on both, but like in a while. So I can see me dipping my toes back out the way again, or like taking my toes out of the water.
Yeah, I think I'm with you in that. I mean, don't get me wrong, the FOMO's going to hit, and it'll be very much like, but I like the new shiny, but I think it's a good thing. And to be fair, from where we're at in terms of stage of life, I think that was going to be inevitable one way or another, because by the time that happens, there could be another person in your household that's like, "Oh, I want that," and it's like,
yes,
right, okay.
It might not be us that's pushing the envelope. That is very true.
Exactly, but I digress. We're going to move out to the main topic now, Alex, but before I do, I just want to give people a wee reminder. If you enjoy the show and you want to support us, just go over to Patreon at patreon.com/pixelparents. It's totally free. You get all the shows, chats and other things as well. And if you can, just go subscribe to us on YouTube. Just visit youtube.com/@pixelparentspodcast, where you'll get some more wee goodies on there that are just on that channel as well. Now, Alex, talking about where gaming is heading there, so it's got us thinking, rather than reacting every week, let's actually put some stakes in the ground here. If we had to lock in a few predictions for the next 5 years, what we're willing to stand behind today, and also, will we regret them? So this main topic is the gaming predictions we'll regret. So we get to, maybe have a few shandies and look into the crystal ball and just go completely crazy. Now, they could be straight line. They could be absolutely straight line. They could be spicy. We enjoyed the spicy ones here, Alex, but anything at all. But we'll just go back and forth and invite you first, sir, to give me your gaming predictions, what it looks like over the next, say, 5 years. What's your big one at the top of your list?
Oh, I think the big one and the obvious one is we don't get another Xbox console.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even feel like, I think the more and more time goes on and the more we're at this stage where the memory prices and all this, and I know we've got Helix and they talk about Helix and have shown people Helix, but that doesn't mean they get into mass production of Helix and don't take another U-turn before we get to that stage and the Xbox does a Sega. But I feel it coming. I absolutely feel that one coming.
Yeah, I know. To quote The Weeknd, I definitely feel that coming. But it's you know, I can. It feels like the writing's on the wall, doesn't it? Like, I actually have a funny feeling. I've put that down as one here, but I put a wee adage on it that they're going to bottom out Game Pass first because they're going to take away day one exclusives. And I think that's just like a small thing on the journey towards them doing a Sega, basically, which is, lads, we can't shift these consoles. Well, we might as well make these big $2,000, boutique items, probably akin to more like a ROG or something like that. Like PC boutique makers, and they're like, yeah, that's there for them. We sold about 100,000 units. Game Pass, though, that's really just more of a collection for past games we've put out. And I think they'll start to do what they did with Call of Duty with a lot of these, like, Gears of War E-Day and stuff like that. They're probably going to approach it as like, no way to be like Sony. And it's like, well, the horse is bolted, lads. Like, I don't know how they turn that around, So, yeah, I think I don't think you'll regret that one. I think you'll be like, Golden Homer laughing, about 30 feet tall, proven right on that one. But you know what? I don't think it's a bad future for them. I think if anything, it's like a release valve because they're fighting a fight that they just can't win, which is how do they become relevant? And it's like, well, that probably is the answer. Like the old model just doesn't work for them anymore, and I'd be sad. I really would be sad because I'm not an Xbox hater. Like it says, we're both owners of an Xbox ROG Ally X, and I enjoy it. And there is a part of me that's kind of like, damn, like should I have got a Lenovo or something like that instead? But no, because I enjoy the experience of it. So we shall see. But good one to kick us off. I've got one here. It's a touchy one, but I thought I need to get some paper in there. You know what I mean? But AI is going to become a very key part of the game development process, and we're going to be forced to suck it up. That's basically it. And
I had a kind of similar one, but along the same lines, but it was almost two coming into one. Like, people will forget about AI and it'll just become norm. And whether that's an AI generated game just absolutely takes everyone by storm and like absolutely loves it. And they're like, oh, AI is actually quite good now. And also AI is not, we're going to realise that AI is not the problem. It's ballooning budget and costs that are actually the problem, and AI could help with that. Whether you like it or not, it can help with that because we're really pointing into an unsustainable world where gaming budgets are far too high, development costs are far too high, and AI can, in many ways, bring that back down.
Yeah.
So kind of similar lines, but a couple of different things in there. But I absolutely agree with you that AI is going to become key to game development going forward to actually make it a sustainable industry again in some way, shape, or form.
I mean, it's a touchy one. That's the one I'm most hesitant, but I thought I have to be honest here, didn't we, and put it forward. Like, it just doesn't feel like we can escape that future. Like,
it's not going anywhere. You can sit there and reject it as much as you like, but too many people have got too much money to lose for AI to fail.
Yeah. Like if it fails, if the bubble bursts per se, it'll still be there. That's the thing. Like, it was the same with the internet when that was kind of the .com boom, and it was the same thing. And it's like, this thing isn't generating any money, and eventually it's almost like they overscope it and then they dial it back. And even if it is like they remove generative AI from like art departments and stuff like that, but I think we're probably not that far in the next 5 years. Exactly what you said. There's going to be like the new Roblox, and it'll be entirely AI generated, and the kids don't care. There's another generation of kids that'll be along in that next 5 years, and you can't stop it. What if Minecraft 2, whatever that is, or the next Minecraft, the next Fortnite, is entirely AI, and we just, like it says, it just becomes the norm. And there is a part of me that does get slightly frustrated because all of us are hurting and paying the price for this AI boom just now, right? Because, well, look at your energy bills, look at the cost of shop, look at everything, right? Cost of consoles, all the rest of that. It's all getting impacted. But see if I go online and I see some people pontificate about it, and then at the same time they're still using their Twitter account because it's got bigger reach. I'm like, that's the hypocrisy. I mean, the absolute hypocrisy, and it happens with quite prominent members of this community, I have to say. But aye, it's they'll probably be the ones having to lead the line and climb down a little bit. We're gonna have to suck it up. But what's your next one you got there, Alex?
My next one is Nintendo kind of got criticised a lot with the Switch 2 for iterating and not being the innovators that they're known to be. So I feel like in the next 5 years in the life cycle of the Switch 2, we're going to get some sort of ridiculous peripheral. Like akin to going back to like Wii Fit board and all that kind of things. They're going to revisit that side of the kind of crazy, wacky Nintendo and just go all in on it, and I can't wait.
Oh man, I love that. That'd be amazing. I can totally see it happening. Something akin to like a Labo or something like that.
Aye, but like next level, they're just going to come out with something that nobody sees coming, and it's just going to be like huge.
I love that. Love that. Just something like the Nintendo shopping trolley experience that you can hook up to your Switch or
Bringing
something.
back the Nintendo scope.
Aye, that's what we need.
Or a
new
Rob.
Virtual Boy. Aye, new Rob actually. Slick one. Skynet version. I can totally see that though. Actually, aye, it's a good shout. My next one, I'm going to get the dour ones before I get the mega spicy, right? The next 5 years, I think cloud gaming becomes the future, and consoles will die.
Yeah.
I think that the way everything's going, they know that what we mentioned previously, the model has to change, and cloud gaming offers that. And I think instead of buying a console, it just becomes you're literally like Nvidia GeForce now. You're buying into subscriptions. It gives you like 200 hours a month or something like that, and that's where it goes. Like I think that's probably why PlayStation are investing a lot in that. Same with Xbox as well. And I can totally see that.
Bring back Stadia.
Bring back Stadia ahead of its time. It was ahead of its time. We just weren't ready. Sadly, but
still such a good controller.
Yeah. Smooth, very smooth. But I just don't know. I feel like that's the way it's kind of going a little bit. But it sucks because we're probably okay here, but I know in the rest parts of the world, like in America, for example, like internet connections can vary like really wildly. But just because the country's so vast, it's difficult to get good connections out there. But what's next on your list there? What's another big bold one?
Well, I feel like we're going to Fortnite. It's not going to die, but Fortnite's going to lose its shine. Partly because Epic's going to make it lose its shine with all the shit that they're doing around AI and everything, and people will still want to. And it's because I feel like we're starting to enter it, but it's going to be the kind of era of friend swap. I think friend swap is going to grow and grow and grow and grow. Like I think Big Walk as it comes in a couple of weeks is really going to like escalate it into like the next level, and friend swap and more co-op gaming's going to kind of eat Fortnite's dinner in a way, and it's going to be the next level of live service is going to come through friend swap rather than through Fortnite.
I like that actually. I suppose even ones like Mecha Chameleon, would that come under that as well?
Yeah.
You can totally see it actually. And it's probably like a just half step away from live service because you're still having a cake and eat it. It's like, well, we can still get microtransactions, and funnily enough, it's kind of like where they were about 15 years ago when multiplayer gaming kind of boomed, and it's like we can
go back to that.
Skins. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's a good shout actually. I can see it, and probably they've got content creators to thank for that as well. You know, like the amount of times I go and I see Mecha Chameleon like clips from this one guy. I can't remember his name. I'll try and remember it. But he's got a very good way of capturing attention. He always does like prop hunt before that, Call of Duty beforehand. Try and remember his name for a go. My next one here, right? I've got some fucking wacky ones here. I'm just trying to keep the best to last here, but here's a good one, right? I think the AA market is going to boom, and AAA gaming is going to be impacted most by a quote unquote crash. And it's all going to be made by teams who worked on the biggest titles. And that's how we start again over the next 5 years. So basically, less Witchers, more Blood of Dawn Walkers. That's what I think is going to happen.
Less Forzas, more clutches. That
yes.
kind of, that side. No, I get what you mean. I totally get that. And I agree. And it's the kind of reset that hopefully we need.
Yeah. Flew too close to the sun with all those ballooning budgets and that you talked about. Like,
yeah. And I kind of had as a wee bit of a similar one in that, but it's maybe a kind of bigger take. And like, we'll get to a stage where the Game of the Year awards will be dominated more by the kind of indie AA scene than the AAA scene, because AAA is just going to get iterative and boring even more than it already is. So we're going to get much more focus on the indie and AA scene, and that's where all the interest is going to fall in the next few years.
Yeah. Do you know, I think that's a good thing. It feels like
agreed.
Industry will heal by doing that. Like, well, we can't keep getting bigger and bigger, and GTA 6 probably will be, a watershed moment, the last of its kind, and that's
the end of the golden era of gaming.
Yeah, it's like we're going to start to that whole like the Miles Moralesification of everything, like those big Sony PlayStation exclusives. It's like God of War Laufey. The next God of War after that, Laufey 2, will be half the length. You know what I mean? That's just what we're going to be facing, because they're probably going to realise it's like, lads, we can't take 8 years to make your next game. We need
can't pay you that long.
Aye, exactly. Like, better part of a decade. Like, not everybody is Rockstar, and we've known that's been a big problem the generation for sure. Starting with last, but no, I look forward to that one. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think some of the best games you play are always in that AA indie type vibe, and there's some really good, cool stuff. They take more risks. Don't have to play it as safe. So the gamers win in that one, I think, Alex. Gamers win. What's your next prediction? You have any more on your list? I've got a few more here.
But within the next 5 years, Bethesda Game Studios still won't have released a new Fallout or Elder Scrolls game.
I've got that on my list. Elder Scrolls doesn't launch for 2030, but I've put Bethesda makes us all sick of Fallout by 2028.
Yeah, it's like, here's another remake and another one. Oh, but here's the one that Oblivion or Obsidian are making too.
I think it's very much, when I hear all that stuff from that update, that to me is a be careful what you wish for type thing. Like, it's if you want more Fallout, I think like remaking 3 and stuff like that is cool, but package them together. Don't do it 2 separate beats. I'm not the biggest fan of New Vegas. Like, I prefer Fallout 3, but I do think time has never been kinder to a game than New Vegas, but you're going to get a lot of people going in there going, this is ass, they ruined it. So we just remade it. But yeah, I'm with you, man. Like, Bethesda, I think, have basically, Todd Towers like to Asher Sharma, I know, Ball Chief, we'll get that made for you. And he's thinking, there's not a chance. Let's just make me a Starfield. Like, that's basically what he really wants to do, doesn't he? But I'm gutted, though. I would have loved to have thought we would have got our hands on Elder Scrolls 6, but that feels like the next Duke Nukem. You know what I mean? So we'll never see it. Never see it, man. I've got one here, an interesting one. See what you think of this one, right? The games media as we know it today collapses. IGN, the last domino to fall by 2030, as aging talent can't keep up with new gen channels or / connect with them. And as an adage, because of that, the Patreon bubble kind of busts a little bit, and gamers move into different ways to support creators. So I think YouTubes and stuff like that will start to go there, and I think that's going to be the Trojan horse, which is why the traditional games media as we see it now, websites and their YouTube videos, are going to get replaced by Mr. Beast types that are covering games instead. And I think that's just a passage of time thing. Not to say they'll go away.
I really hope we regret that one.
Me too. Me too. It's not to say that it goes away. I just think that it feels like we're in the last days of what we know it as. And I think it's just a trend that's going to grow. And I think it was the other day I had the thought, put on an IGN video, and I'm like, these are people that I obviously we both watched for donkeys. And it's like, how is this still going? Do you know what I mean? And the ones that are smart have branched off and did their own thing. And they've been very successful, your giant bombs and stuff like that. And they'll still curate that small audience. But I think that's probably, little hideaways. But that last bastion of the IGN style ones and the GameSpot, which kind of look like that's going to happen sooner than later, sadly, that'll get replaced by new types of content creators. And if you don't believe me, just go through your TikTok, go through your YouTube shorts, you'll see what I'm talking about. The games media is just going to
We're
change.
halfway there.
Yeah, we are.
We are halfway there. And it's I mean, a lot of that kind of games media and content, I can't stomach it. It's like these things like, oh, let's get somebody to video going like randomly doing something here so you can see, oh, look at me. I'm like, no, pal, have some dignity. Like, I can't go that far. Like, if someone like doing like staging something just so I can like caption it and do this, I'm like, no. If it's just, I'll happily sit and play a game and talk about it. I'll happily sit in a podcast, but that whole like staged, scripted side of just for pure views and likes and clicks and all that, I'm like, oh no, it literally like makes me feel sick in my stomach with a lot of the time. I just can't stomach it. Like more traditional, like I'll listen to a podcast and listen to that. But if we get to that stage where everything's like that, I'm like, no, I need to just bow out. Like I can't do it. Can't do it.
I think we'll have that. But I feel like we're the cassette owners to the youths coming in with their CDs. Like, blame the youths. But it's just, I think that's all it is. It's a generational change as to how they digest and intake media.
I just hope it goes with the generations in the past of us, though. And like we still have this slice of our generation, and everything moves with us, and it's still there. It's just, it's just still us, and it just moves along with us. That's my hope.
I know, because that's a scary thought actually. Because at one point we're not going to be the biggest slice of the pie buying the games, and they're going to start making it for the youths, and when they start working and all the rest of that, we become, what we're used to moving along with looks totally different, and it is all that scripted type media. But I think there will still be the last bastion. It's just going to look very different. And I say the Patreon bubble burst, I think that's also aligned to gamers getting squeezed to a new length. So I think that kind of style of stuff, and that plays into it when gamers are going to hand over cash. So if you're supporting, I'll use Giant Bomb as an example, right? If you're paying like £10-20, even like an RKG or something, top quality, no matter who it is, right? Over time, it's like, right, when games get more expensive, consoles, you're paying maybe monthly for a console, you start to reevaluate, and then the youths are on YouTube and TikTok, and they're looking at that as purely as a revenue stream. They're not pushing Patreon. Then that's where the youth are going to be, and I think that's going to be the final nail in the coffin. Much akin to how internet sites destroyed gaming magazines. Like it's just the cycle. That's all that happens. But I'm with you. I am absolutely not going to be consuming that, and I'm going to be sticking in a rut, enjoying my old man podcast, my safe space.
Deniers, like would just be like that. It's not a thing.
Back absolutely in my day, we read. We found movements to make magazines again. That type of stuff. But yeah, next one on your list there, Alex.
I think that was a kind of majority. I mean, I think the one that I always come out with so far, and I'm going to say it again because I feel bad always saying this, but I think I think we're nearly there, but I think given another few years, you won't be getting any games for VR. VR will be a niche of some other. It'll be getting used more for, see, a bit like Kinect died and then is used for so many other things. I think that's where VR is going to be in a few years' time. Like the gaming side of it is unfortunately going to be gone, but it's going to be used much more as an interactive experience training tool, that kind of market. Yeah, unfortunately.
It's a shame. I mean, well, you're definitely obviously much more of the believer than I, but see that moment when PSVR was coming out, and that, to me, that was it coming back. And I didn't get any further than that. But it was such a buzz. It's like, wow, this is new, it's exciting, it's cool. Still not pulled the trigger on the PSVR 2. Maybe one day, Alex, but I've heard it's a very good piece of kit.
You'll get it absolutely cheap soon.
Aye.
You'll get a bargain eventually. I'm
hoping, because there's just something about it. It's something so unique, and yeah, it's a sad one, but I don't know if you'll regret it. I think you're absolutely bang on the money with it. There's ones I will regret here. Right? I've got a couple more, but they're probably more quick-fire ones, right? The ones I hope to not regret is that Game Pass and PlayStation Plus booms just because of the next gen that we said, like, it's included in the package. So I'm like, right, okay, that, takes the bitterness away slightly. What else have I put in there? Yep, DLC becomes the hot push now for Sony and Microsoft types as the live service trend dies. So they're just going to go back a step.
And do you think on that one it'll be not even so much that DLC will boom, but you'll actually see the base game become a bit thinner and the DLC there to bulk it out? Yeah,
I do. I think it's going to be much more akin to what we had maybe a generation or two ago, maybe close to that PS3 360 or the PS4 era, or the in-betweeny parts. Like, I definitely can see that almost as a way to kind of keep you hungry for more. So yeah, there's Spider-Man 3, right? We'll do that, but if you can get the Ultimate Edition, then it comes with 3 DLC drops, and it's nothing new, but I think we just that becomes the norm as opposed to relying on the next prediction, my final prediction. But I'll keep that to the end because it's one that I hope to regret. One in between, right? Cozy gaming, I think will save gaming and become the next big trend that the suits chase. I think that's much akin to your friend slot one.
Yeah.
I think cozy gaming's up there for one that they're going to chase just because of it all folds back into this year. Games media, the youths, all the rest of it, views, all the rest of that. So streamers, etc. You go where the streamers are. And I think that's why they're going to just try and go down that route. But my last and final one that I hope to Christ I regret, because I hope I've not given them an idea, but I do think that next gen games will have a 99.99 RRP. I do. I think we're going to get there. It's the sky is the limit for these bastards, and
it's not though, because there is a ceiling. There's absolutely a ceiling.
I think they've beaten me down, and I don't that for me, like, talking sake, right? PlayStation 6, it's like, yeah, like anything above the £90 mark, and I'm like, nope, like no chance. Piracy, bring back Pirate Bay, all that type of stuff. Like, I hope that's not the case. I just have a funny feeling that we're inching closer towards it. And the canary in the coal mine for me was looking at the US pricing for GTA 6. I think that's going to be, they're all trying to find a way to do it. But let's go back through the other predictions we've made. These could be stepping stones towards that AAA gaming collapse and the AA gaming thing having a boom, because it's like, well, I don't want to pay £100. I'd rather pay, 60 quid for Blood of Dawn Walker 2, or whatever it is, so there's cause and effect throughout it all, but I think those should have stipulated that the AAA, top tier exclusive games, they're going to be $99.99. But I do hope I'm wrong, Alex, because I'll have a fucking heart attack. I mean, I'm just not going to be buying them at that point. It's a sad day when I'm waiting at coming down to £70 in a sale. You know what I know.
Yeah, it's amazing how quickly your expectations change, though. You're like, oh, maybe it gets to 50, that's all right.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, no, that's just how much it used to be. Like, and even then it was 40 rather than 50 you would have paid. And you're like, oh,
I know.
Sad times.
You get somebody in the back talk about inflation. Just you sit down. We don't want to talk about that. No. Just things for inflation. It was different. But yeah.
Do you know how much a bar of chocolate is?
Do you know how many Freddos I could have got with that? Measure it in that. The one to close on here, Alex, what's prediction that the one you've got there? Everyone, do you think you're going to look the most foolish for?
I mean, I think it could be even though it's the most obvious one, I think it could be the Xbox console one, because maybe they are too far down the line to to turn it, to change their mind.
Yeah, true.
I think everything else could genuinely happen.
I think for me, mine's will be my last one, the 99.99.
Aye, I hope so. I hope so.
I mean, I hope so. I'd quite happily wear egg in my face for that one, but that's one I'm most at risk at. But yeah, those are all of our predictions, folks. I mean,
just you wait to see when Microsoft released Project Helix within a Kinect.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm really intrigued to see both of our reactions just privately. Like when they do announce the PS6 and the Project Helix, to see which one of us blinks first, including Scott in that.
I'm like, I'm going to need that now. So look at that. Look at that controller.
Aye. We did the same thing, I remember. I think it was the PS5 Pro, but the anniversary edition. It was like just before it's like, you're on the pre-orders. It's like, I'll go try and have one.
Still raging and never got one.
I know, man. Damn the scalpers. I hope they fix that, actually, regardless of what they do. And if I'm buying it or not, I hope they do make it better than what they did with the Steam machine, like with the lottery approach. Like, they need to get it in people's hands, but maybe the monthly subscription thing just automatically gets rid of the scalpers, because high price to pay if you're doing all those finance
you're not going to shift that in the second-hand market, are you?
Nah, not a chance, man. Not a chance. But yeah, everybody listening and watching, let us know, what predictions you think we are going to look the most foolish for, or what ones you have of your own, anything that you think we've missed. Always good to hear from you. Little reminder as well, we launched the Pixel Pix replay over the last couple of months. This month's one is Burnout 3 Takedown for July. So that's our video game book club. We're inviting everybody to join us as we replay the top 100 games from the Pixel Pix list, and we'll get together at the end of the month to kind of go through it from a retrospective point of view. Alex, have you had a chance to get your hands on it at all?
Not yet, because I need to bring my Steam Deck back to life, because that's where I have like my methods of playing it set up.
Magic alleged methods.
My alleged methods. So yeah, I need to find out. I think my Steam Deck might need some like CPR or something to bring it back.
Yeah,
from the brink.
I need to. I've got a means to do it on the blog. So I need to dig that out. That's my job for this next week. But I'm going to look forward to kind of checking it out again. It's been a very long time since I played that game. But yeah, if you can also get your hands on it. But also, for these companies, just go pirate it. Get hard enough and they'll rip me off. But yeah, do that if you can.
Maybe now they're bringing these like more original Xbox games to PC for emulation and Game Pass and adding achievements into them. You never know. Maybe we'll get Burnout 3 as a PC backwards compatible Xbox game with achievements. That would be the dream.
I'd take it and I'd run, man. You know what's going to happen just after we allegedly play it? Sod's law. But yeah, anyway, I digress. I'm going to move on to the final segment, which is a new one mentioned just last week, which means it's time for Gamer Court, where one of us is going to bring, in fact, both of us are going to bring a gaming opinion to the stand. The other plays judge and jury. And by the end, we're going to decide whether it's a fair take or a gaming crime. Alex, of course, you're in the dock first. What's your case this week, sir?
My case this week is survival mechanics in RPGs are nothing more than filler and should be removed from all RPGs. So whether that be crafting, whether that be making food, all that nonsense that you can't be bothered doing is just in there so that you're playing this game longer than you need to be. Okay.
Just in RPGs or just in RPGs?
Well, maybe not just mainly like in your kind of RPGs, just to like hedge out. But in any game, do you ever really want to craft stuff if it's not the main point of the game, or do you ever really want to cook if it's not the main point of the game? Does it need to be in there? No, really.
Yeah,
just give me a potion.
Okay, we hear the case. The defence here. There's two sides I'm coming to this. The defence is only time I'm like, here's a point here, but when have I enjoyed cooking in a game that doesn't need it? It's not a cooking game. And obviously, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom comes to mind.
But even then, did you like it?
I'm a sicko. I did like it. But then I think back to dreadful times. And I'm like, I've had more dreadful times than not. The time that I played Monster Hunter. And then more recently, Crimson Desert. Now, have you played Crimson Desert?
I haven't played Crimson Desert. It's on my list to try at some point. It's on that. It needs to hit a point of a price that I'm happy to pay type level.
It's a lot of fun, right? And I do encourage you to play it because there's nothing like it. It's such a weird ass game, but there's something in there to enjoy. Polarizing as hell, but this might be the part that puts you off it. The healing mechanics in that do pretty much rely on you cooking a shit ton of meals. And you can cook as many as you want, but you have to sit there and cook so that
But
you've got that
why?
to top up your health.
No.
You know what I mean? So, and that
Hey,
wasn't fun. It wasn't fun. You're standing there like, see, once I got that in my head, and I was like, I just need to like get lots of cooking materials, and it could be vegetables, meat, whatever. I'm just standing there. Now, they could have updated it since, so I'm just going to go based on my experience. It's like wasting 20 minutes just cooking. I was like, it'd be quicker cooking my own tea. You know what I mean? And it's not fun. So we've heard the case. I would like to say that you're not guilty on this one. I think it's a fair case because if I think back to that experience, I've had more experiences where I haven't enjoyed it than when I have, and that's mainly just the cooking. But
it might make some of these
mechanic,
80-hour games like more like 40 and actually palatable because you get rid of all that shite that you don't actually want to do.
Yeah, 100%. Like the earliest one I had, memory wise, of that was San Andreas. Of all things, like you just kept getting notifications. No, did get penalised, but it's like you're hungry, you need to eat, your energy's low. It's like go away. I can't be bothered with this. Like,
because you'll always find that recipe like the easiest one to make, and you'll just be like, right, let's make 500 of these right now, just so I've got constant stock of it for the rest of time. Like you just find as whatever shortcuts you can, and not actually pay attention to how it's supposed to work.
Yeah,
it's just a waste, and it'll bring your development cost down as well. See, remove the bloat, make it cheaper. It's just better for gaming.
Yeah, well, there we go. I mean, that's you've survived Gamer Court again. It's my turn.
Does it have no bad takes?
Well, that's true. No bad takes, Alex. That's it. That's the nickname you're getting now. I'm fearful this week, man. But I thought, I have to.
Guilty.
We might as there we go up the roads. Change, please. But no, I've got one here. Right, I'm in the dock now, Alex, and you're playing judge here. But I present my case to Gamer Court. I think we give more flack to Western open world games, but less to anime JRPGs, who arguably perhaps deserve it more, with a higher volume of them and more of a cut and paste approach.
So are you kind of talking here like how everybody jumps on a Ubisoft open world, and an Ubisoft open world isn't really that bad when you compare it to some of the JRPGs that just make you go and do like 5,000 fetch quests?
That's a good example, yeah. Or like the abundance of the same game on any Nintendo Direct. And it's like, this is amazing. Oh my goodness, it's my entire personality. But then, I'll use the Ubisoft example. They announce one every like 2-3 years. Even like compared to Assassin's Creed, you know what I mean? Which I'll defend. But it's like, there's too many of them. It's like they're releasing like not even annually anymore, guys. Let's just calm like.
So, though, is your argument here right that people give the flack, but do you think the kind of counter to that could be like, yeah, there's loads and loads of these games, but they're actually a much better designed world and they work better?
No.
You're not having that?
Not having it, no. I think the issue I have is the fatigue argument with it. It's like, I'm so bored of this, all the rest of it, and I'm like, well, you're getting probably 4 times the amount, but we're willing to turn a blind eye, Judge.
I suppose if that's your angle at it in terms of the fatigue, and then just specifically, we're not really talking about the games and the design as such. We're just saying people will give a free pass to those games compared to like just wanting to jump on a Western RPG. Then I think you've got to be not guilty, because I think that's true.
Yeah.
I'm not, but that's not me saying that JRPGs are not better than a Ubisoft game, and Ubisoft game's better than, or like that Western. It's not, but I think your actual argument is you just get a harder time for being Western based.
Effectively, yes, and also it's the fatigue volume part. That's the part. That's the flack. That's the flack that I'm bringing to the dock today to put a finer point on it. And it always tickles me, because the amount of times I've sat and tuned in for a Nintendo Direct, and I'm like, there's another one of these games, and I was like, if we get 2 say, of a Western open world or RPG games. Like, these are all the same. And it's like, guys, come on. Like,
do you know what should get that flack?
Sure.
And it kind of taking it from, and this is not my bad take because we've already done one, but you really should be giving that flack to fucking farming sims. Because you must see a farming sim, and then another farming sim, and another farming sim, and another farming sim, and another farming sim. And farming sims are not fun. You can tell me that Stardew Valley is a good game. Stardew Valley is not a good game. Stardew Valley is a good game to put you to sleep.
Oh, God. I can... Do you hear that? I think I can hear Scott Curry running to your house.
You're probably guilty of that one, but yeah, we'll save that for another day. But
okay.
Yeah. But I think to your point of fatigue, I feel like there's far more deserving games and genres than the ones that get the argument against them.
Yes,
so,
more deserving. Not guilty. There we go. Yes. We don't have a guilty yet on it, so I think we're going to have to up the spice level. I was worried about that one. I have to admit, but no bad takes, Alex.
Attack the farming sims.
It's like, I know for a fact Scott is going to message one of us about that.
Oh, I know.
Oh, I keep on toggling the mic, the mute here, because I'm getting a frog in my throat here. It just hits you right at the end. We were doing so well, guys, but yeah. On that note, and no guilty verdicts this week, delighted to say we've not been chucked into game or jail. It does bring us to an end to this week's podcast, so thank you once again for joining us, and remember, go support small independent games media out there. So if you like what you hear, you enjoy the podcast, just share on social media and tell your pals about us. Leave a wee 5-star review. Whatever you do makes a huge difference. And excuse me, Alex, where can people find you if they want to find you online?
You can find me at alexsurvives.bsky.social. Most of my posts will be just me saying good morning to you on Blue Sky. Or you can find the Mimics Fail at themimicsfail.bsky.social on any other platforms or on the podcast app that you're listening to right now.
Excellent. Please do go check them out, guys. This is, you get that way with your throat just...
and it's just not going to clear.
And it's just
like, go ahead, just let me get through this bit. Come on.
Let me get through it. Just hold it together, lads. Hold. I shouldn't have did that. If you can, go to patreon.com/pixelparents to support the show. You can get me on Blue Sky at carmelite.bsky.social. And a huge, massive thank you to our producer and music man, very talented and handsome Mr. Sean Murray. Go show him some love. Check out his work on Instagram at barehandsdesigns and barehandsdesigns.com. But you can listen to the next episode on all your major podcast platforms and follow us on Blue Sky at pixelparents.bsky.social or write to us at pixelparentspodcast@gmail.com. Wherever you are, please like, share, subscribe, and please play some damn games. But until next time, stay safe, stay sane, and thank you for listening.
Play Alan Wake 2.